Hello and namaste to everyone. This is Abhishek, and you're watching Abhishek Takshila Vidhi Talks. Today, we have got a good friend of mine, Mr. Mazen Divani, who is a professor of economics, quite an accomplished fellow. I have known him for quite some time. He has been a good friend of mine, originally from Syria, presently in Italy, quite a globetrotter. So today we would like to know his opinion about the ongoing human tragedy of Israel and Palestine conflict. He, being Arab himself, must have perspective that we as an Indian should know and learn, and accordingly make our opinions. Right. So, Mr. Diwani, welcome to the Abhishek's Takshila Vidhi Talk. So, and namaste from
Professor
my side.
Abhishek, thank you so much for having me. You know you're a great friend, and I'll never actually let you down any call. And thank you so much for inviting me to your channel. And
Thank
I'm
you.
a follower, but unfortunately, it's most of it is not in English, so I just have the pleasure of just following you. But thank you so much.
No, I can understand the language is a problem.
Absolutely.
So, as I'm sure you must have been following what's ensuing in Israel. What's your take on that? What do you say about it? How do you see look at it?
Absolutely. Actually, Abhishek, because the tragedy has been taken a long time since the 40s, since the 1948, when Israel actually stated its existence as a state. So basically, what I remember as my generation before, the generations before, and that's sometimes we wake up and we will see tragedy, and then we will move on. We'll see some raids from the Israeli parts on Palestinians and so forth. And this is actually quite vested in the history, as they have been many wars between the two parts, and especially when the Palestinians are left alone. But for this time, it was a huge surprise and positive shock. I cannot be objective. I must actually just try to state the facts that if you actually, as an Indian fellow or a Pakistani fellow or a Brazilian fellow, imagine that you are in your home and somebody knocked the door and tried to kick you out. And you can think about this as it is a tragedy in itself, because your history is there. It never minds what the books. We can go back 1,000, 2,000 years ago, and we claim that we were living here. I'm talking about the Hebrew story, or the version of the Hebrew story. But we cannot think. I mean, even I'm now talking to you, and Israel is taking part of the Golan Heights in Syria, right? And it's been there for like since 1967. So basically, I was shocked, first of all, because I knew that the reaction from the Israeli part would be very difficult in terms of the huge and massive the arsenal, the weaponry they've got. So basically, we were happy for the first 24, 48 hours. And then now we're seeing the tragedy. Now Israel is asking Palestinians in Gaza Strip to leave. They don't care whether they go to Egypt or some, and we're talking about 2 millions, Abhishek, which is really a huge problem. So my take, I was really happy, but I was really, Abhishek, and to actually go into the next question, I was really surprised by the terms that the Israeli used, that those are savages, they're animals. I don't know how you can, say something about like this about somebody who's defending their own rights. So that's my take on that.
So the issue is that the way Hamas killed people, made women naked, and paraded them on the street, and then on a music festival they opened fire on unarmed people. Do you think it's a legitimate way to do that?
No, absolutely not. It's not a legitimate. But let me tell you this story. We actually, in the media, we are only concerned about what you're seeing, but we tend to forget what's been happening for over the past 10 years. I know that killing people and women and those civilians is not a way actually to defend your rights. You're absolutely right. And I know for sure that for any groups, whether they're defending their rights or wrong, there might be individuals who are actually going off the wall. which is totally unacceptable, right? But the thing is that if we look over the past years, Abhishek, we would see that the same thing what happened with the Israelis happened to the Palestinians and by tens of thousands. I'm quite surprised that the media actually only covers what they want to cover and they tend to forget. But to answer your question, no, it's totally unforgettable. It's totally because you're defending your own rights. You should be aiming for militias and the military use, not to actually target the civilians. So for me, no, that's totally unacceptable. And I think that we need to focus on the both sides of the story, and the media actually has a big role in promoting these things. So we could think of that the other party is defending themselves, but they are savages and they're animals. So yeah, I'm totally with you.
So, having said that, how do you see this the characterization? How would you characterize this conflict? Is it a religious conflict? Is it a national conflict? How do you see it?
Well, basically, the start of this, and I know that your listeners from India would really like to know the historical roots of this. It started at the claim of a religious that this is the promised land for, I'm talking about the Hebrew or the Israelis part of the story. But then later on, actually, they got quite shifted away into building their own state. So basically, it's a mixture, Abhishek, between something like a religious root, and then later on it developed into becoming like a national security. This is our own state, we need to defend it. You are not allowed to be in this land. This is our grandfather's land. This is where let's say the prophets Sulaiman who were there, they built the temples there. This is the story. So basically I would say that 80 to 85% of the story is religious, into be moving into this land and lock themselves within this land. But later on, as it developed, no, actually, it's like a conflict between two parties. Somebody has got in your home and you're trying to defend back your home. Imagine, Abhishek, now you're in India, in the beautiful India, and someone came, like some Syrian came to you and say, look, man, 3,000 years ago, we were the owners of this land. How would you, I mean, quite honestly, I would like to have your opinion, Abhishek. It's like simple as this. What would you say? What would you say if somebody now come to your room and say, look, man, in 1971 I used to live here, now I have to get this back? How's
Yeah,
your
no,
take on this, Abhishek?
yeah, that's problematic, of course, because it's been a long time, and then lot of water has flown by, so that's problematic, of course. But in 1947 and 48, the Arabic side in before the United Nations, they did agree to the two state solution. What is your take on that? That why did they reneged on it? Why did they went back after agreeing to two-state solution?
Actually, no, that's a fallacy because the Security Council issued the decision 181, which is actually came after the pressure from the Zionist organizations that we want. Actually, the story is that, as you know, and everybody knows, Palestine was under occupation by United Kingdom, by the British Empire, and the British Empire has some actually interest in that area, and there got some connections between the leaders. What one of them is the Tudor Herzl, who's got actually to take the promise from the British Foreign Ministry at the time, Balfour, in 1917. Imagine that you are taking a promise from somebody. This is not his land. This is not his home. Promising the Israelis that, okay, you're going to be actually flown from all around the world, and this land would be for you. And after the end of the World War One in 1918, things have escalated, and the Jews, the Hebrews, started to actually moving into Palestine, buying some lands. They got to a point that, okay, we need to have this land. This is ours. And before the decision 181, there was actually a decision by, I think the committee is Bell Committee, which stated that the actually 75% of the Palestinian land should be owned by Israelis and the rest. And that's why they had the grand revolution in 1936, which obviously did not work out. And then World War II came, and then the decision 181 was issued by the Council, by Security Council and the United Nations. But actually, they had to actually sign a truce. What they signed, Abhishek, is a truce. Not they stated that okay, and that's why we had the war, the first Israeli-Arab world war in 1948, in which the Arab was defeated. We six armies of six countries actually got into war with Israel: Syria, Egypt, I think Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and two other countries. I don't remember. I don't recall right now. And they were defeated. So what they actually signed is a truce, Abhishek. And from now on, you can see, Abhishek, if you are actually coming to actually get your right, or you are persisting on something, maybe you sign and then you forget it. But if you go back to history, we had the war in 1948, and then the 1956, the triple aggressions by France, Israel, and Britain, and then 1967 and 1973. So I'm not convinced that actually you go into a war time by time and you're not feeling that this is your own land. They would have just given it up, Abhishek, right? They would have given it up. So basically, this is just a sign of a truce in 1949. So basically, they did not declare no, that we actually we want this. And besides, Abhishek, if you want to go, I mean, that's a long topic. That's a huge topic. We would have gotten to the dictators in the Arab world that actually got us into this mess in the first place, right? But that's actually also would take some time. And I would go back into each country, and each country would have its own actually policy and agenda. And each guy of these Arab dictators, basically the main goal is not Palestine, not his people. It's the throne. It's how he would actually save the throne. And you can imagine the compromises that he would give for this.
So, mm, uh, how do you see the Palestinian land? Is it an Arab land, or is a Muslim land, or it's an Arab Muslim land? What's how do you, because there must be Arab Jews also. So do you make a distinction
Sure,
between Jews and non-Arab Jews?
that's great. No, I see it as Palestine. Forget the term Arab, forget the Muslim. In Palestine, it's that what Jesus actually, his mission started. So no, if I say that this is an Arab and Muslim, I would be a racist. I would be out of touch. No, it's Palestine, like India, it's Bharat, India, like Japan, China. I would not actually try to phrase it into some framework. And that's the problem, Abhishek. If you frame something, now you need to go into conflict about tracing the roots. 1,000, 2,000 years ago, there was no Islam. Why would I say it? But Palestine was there. That portion of land was there, right? 2, 3,000, 4,000. So no, I would not say it's an Arab or it's a Muslim. I would say it's a Palestine. Well, the context of the history actually, and the spread of Arabs from the peninsula and taking over all these lands made this country part of what's actually called the Arab League or the Arab land. But no, I would not actually phrase it or just characterize it as being Arab. And that's really important. It's all for Arabs, for Jews, for Christians, for atheists, anybody who wants to live there peacefully. But I'm not convinced that you are living there for hundreds and thousands of years and somebody comes up and say you have to get out. This is our land. That's the story. That's
But
the point.
I'm a little confused because it's saying that you describe them as Palestinians, and Palestinian means Jewish, atheist, Muslim, and Arabs, and everyone. But at the same time, you're saying that these Jews who are Israelis are not our people. Then a little confused. So why don't you accept them as Palestinians?
No, no,
Why
no,
do
no. There's a difference between Jew and Israeli. Israel is the name of the state, Abhishek. Jew or Jewish is a religion like Islam, like Christianity. That's a mixture. You do not say, and you can't. There is an Arab Israeli. Israel is the actually the passport. You are actually holding the passport of that made up country, which was established in 1947. Before 1947, there was no something called Israel. Jews are forever, two, three, 4,000. So we don't need to mix up. There are Arab Jews. There are Jews. There are Jews from Poland. There are Jews from Russia.
So
You name
I
it.
do understand that, and then what's the problem in accepting? Because whether are you having a problem with the name? So let's say if they change the name of the country in Palestine and everything else stays the same, would you be fine with that?
No, actually, you cannot actually do it like simple like that. I'm talking about the original owners of the land, and somebody came up and they just forcibly, by using the weapons and the Western actually support, they claim that this is their land, and they kicked all the Arabs, all the Palestinians, all the Christians. We're not talking about Arabs. We're talking about actually those that are the owners. I don't want to use the word Arab over and over. Let's forget that. So Abhishek, let's suppose that you are living in 1946 in Palestine, which is a state actually defined by the United Nations, by everything globally, internationally, and somebody comes up to you and say, "Okay, I'm gonna kick you out, and I'm gonna build my own state," and they named it Israel. And that they're building settlements over settlements. And if we see the spread of the geographic actually expansion that this state has, you can see the difference between 1948, 56, 67, and 73, and ending in 82 when they
So I I
invaded.
I I understand your argument. You're saying that basically they were the original people, and then someone came in 1950 saying that some thousands and thousands years ago they were the
Yes,
owner of the land. So you
yes,
got to give us the land. All right.
yes.
But how do you explain Turkey? Turkey is on the land of Europe. Would you say they are occupiers? They are the
How do you
Central
say?
Asians.
You mean I mean, you can define. You need to define what do you mean by they are on the land of Europe, in which
Anatolia was the part of the Greece. The ancient name
yes,
of the Turkey was Anatolia. It's the Greece.
yes.
And
Well,
just 300, 400 years ago they came from Central Asia, defeated some forces, then they are there forever
and
now.
the claim is still right now in taking place between Greece and Turkey over this land, right? They claim that this is our own land, and that they claim that this is. I mean, the claim is there, right? There's a tension. There's a fight. There's something between these two states. It's all about actually who were there originally and imposing the power. Turkey is different story, Abhishek. I'm talking about in Palestine, because in Palestine it's like
why I'm
70, 80
asking
years ago.
is because
Yes,
Organization of Islamic State, Islamic
yes,
Nation of OIC, sorry, this thing, they do not see everything the way you are explaining for Palestine. What I'm of the opinion that Palestine, the Palestinians should have their land because they are the son of the soil,
yeah.
and they have created their culture, history, cuisine, language, and everything. They have all the right to claim that land, right?
Mm, mm.
But so is the other land, or let's say Kashmir. The Indians and Hindus were there for thousands of years. Then came the invaders, Islamic invaders, and then they claim is now their land. And the OIC now says that oh, Kashmir is a problem. It's because some people who had Islamic ideology came to India and then destroyed our temple, and now Kashmir becomes a part of the Islamic land. How is it? How do you see these two equations, these two double standard by the OIC?
Absolutely. First of all, if we're going to talk about Kashmir, you don't forget, Abhishek, that there's something called the British Empire. And those guys would actually move around and create problems. First of all, when Pakistan was created out of India to make this actually some Islamic nation, I'm totally opposed about anything is called Islamic state or Christian state or a Jewish state. But don't forget, Abhishek, you and I are professors, right? I mean, we are elites. We delve into history and we read, but we're talking about the simple people who are driven by these kind of things, by these religious matters. So when you come into to a guy who's totally blind, he doesn't understand that. he would say, I'm fighting for the name of Islam. Islam is not the way you're thinking. Islam is a beautiful, simple religion like any religion. You want to actually be a Muslim? Be my guest. You want to be Hindu? Be my guest. You're going to be Jewish? Be my guest. It doesn't have you to, you don't have to fight. And the root of the fight, actually, if you look deeper into it, it's not about Islam or Christianity. They are actually making these terms so that the people would fight. That would a man from Pakistan, he says, I am a Muslim and I have to fight that atheist Hindu back to get Kashmir. No, it doesn't work like that. And actually, this is not my only opinion. I'm not actually, this is the opinion of all moderate actually Muslims who live there. But unfortunately, the media, Abhishek, the propaganda, would actually describe this as being an Islam thing, and actually they're trying to make these enemies between other societies who are not Muslim and the Muslims are themselves. So basically, I am with you. For me, for my sake, I hate saying that this is an Islamic country, and I don't believe in this. I believe in a modern state. Everybody has the right actually to follow or pursue his own religious beliefs, whether you are actually worshiping a rock or a monk or God, whatever. But please try to coexist. That's beautiful. But the thing that I don't accept is that I'm sitting around in my room and someone would come to me, Abhishek, saying, this is my room, get the hell out of here. That's the problem. Right,
No,
Abhishek? So I'm with
I
you.
I personally 100% agree with you that there is an Arabic land, and Arabs have a claim because they have lived there. They have created that land. The entire identity of that land is Arab, and they should not be deprived of that. I completely understand that, and I agree with that. There's Arabian Peninsula, there's Arabic land, Arabic religion, Arabic thought process, and it should be preserved, promoted, and also respected in the coexistence with other things. I'm all for a two-state solution, to be honest. I think Palestinians should get their rights. Palestinians should have their land. Palestinians should, because they were there for thousands of years. And now, since Israel is a reality, only the coexistence is going to be the problem. So, two states solution should be the way forward to fight. But I think the Arabian Peninsula belongs to Arab, to be honest with you. It's Mecca without Arabia is, I mean, you can't imagine it. Someone comes over, takes it over by force, and saying that it's me and I'm gonna take it. That's unacceptable to me. To
Absolutely, Abhishek.
to wipe out Arabian language, to say that my language is superior to your language is unacceptable to me. I
I mean,
would
I can't imagine that I can go to India and say, this is my land. India has its own culture with
exactly.
that thousands of religions, thousands of languages, people coexist. This is India. We know this is an identity. It's known for all the globe. When you say India, you come into your mind this triangle. You cannot actually you cannot move this. But I have a comment on what you said about the coexistence of two states, Abhishek. Well, that seems the solution at the surface. But if you think about it, what actually would guarantee for me that the other country, if they agree, and they're not going to agree, because it's a fight of existence. It's either me or you, Abhishek. It's not working. Politics is very dirty, Abhishek. They cannot actually do it. It's all a propaganda. Oh, to have a resolution and the two states would exist. No, either party would not agree, even if they sign. But imagine this: if I sign with you, Abhishek, that we have to have like two states living together, what actually gonna guarantee that I'm not gonna invade you or you're gonna invade me? Nothing.
See, I'll tell you one thing. What as an Indian, we have seen
Yes.
my motherland being divided in the name of religion, right?
Yes.
We have never invaded Pakistan, or we have never said that we cannot coexist. We are trying to coexist, right? So there are so many examples like that where the
But this
countries
is
have
for a reason, Abhishek, because the balance of power, right? We
no,
we
not
have
the
we
balance
have
of
to
power.
admit.
Pakistanis have no balance of power, but that's okay. There were people, they accepted another religion and they rejected their motherland, they rejected their culture. So it's okay. I mean, it's
No,
people's
no, no.
wish.
Actually, I have to disagree with you, Abhishek. It's not about. I mean, let me actually, for this moment, let me be Pakistani. All right. and you are Indian. You say that they don't have this balance of power. I disagree. Why? Because they're gonna use again the thing that we talked about, which is religion. They gonna have actually this feelings for Muslims, hundreds of millions all around the globe, and they would actually fight for this cause in the name of Islam. So you see, the idea is wrong, right? To fight somebody in the name of Islam, this does not work. You have to leave people. But now I think this actually coexistence is for a reason. We don't forget that India is a powerful country, and but both countries have like nuclear missiles, and both parties have like allies. So that's what's keeping things. Let's say, okay, something happens there, something happened here, no problem. But I'm talking about in general. That's what keep the two countries, right, in some balance. These guys are having their allies, and these guys having their allies. That's my take on this, Abhishek. I don't know if you agree or not.
I understand, but this is not the reality. We have accepted Pakistan as a division of my
Yes.
motherland, so it's okay. They
Yeah.
have, whether they have nuclear bomb or no nuclear bomb. We have accepted it. It's a country, and it's a country created in the name of Islam. That's okay. So be it. They have taken it. You want to be happy, be happy.
Yeah.
But I agree to your point that every part of the world has their original people, aborigines people, right?
Yes.
Who have created the, who have given the Arabia has got its name from the Arab people. So
Yeah.
that means Palestine got its name from Palestinian people. I agree with that. But as far as because Arab Jews have lived there for thousands of years, and then Ashkenazi
Sure.
Jews have come from outside. So I do understand this problem, this what you call solution of yours. But to sum it up, let me say this thing, because in all over the world, even in India, our policy is that there should be two-state solution. That
Yeah.
means Israel and Palestine. The Jews of Israel should have their own land, and Palestinians should have their own land. Maybe pre 1967 or post 1967, 60-40 land division or whatever it is. But we
Mm.
here suppose we here support two-state solution. We support the cause of Palestinian people to have their homeland and then live as per their rules and laws, and coexist with the Israelis. And at the same time, we condemn the actions of Hamas, that taking hostage and killing innocent girls, raping naked at parade and all that. This is
Yeah.
unacceptable, whatever be the cause. So, how do you see the solution of this conflict in the long term? Do you think two
Actually,
state solution is a viable solution?
yes, we have to be realistic. I'm a pragmatic guy. If you say no, the thing would continue. In my opinion, if you have like two states, you have to advance yourself into technology and build up your education and maybe leave it for another generation, right? But you have to be pragmatic, Abhishek. To be honest, what you can say, you don't have the structure that they are having. So if you want to actually take over and be, advanced, and maybe because I know for sure, Abhishek, not even in 100, not even in 200, this thing would be solved or worked out. It's either you or me. We cannot live together, and that's thousands of reasons. But what you said is that right. I am with you. It's just to have like two states, right? Let's have like two states, and then by the time, let the time in the future, you can build up your capabilities, because that's what's gonna happen. We have to be realistic, right, Abhishek? So basically, you just postponing this matter into a future
You are
generation.
saying that you are basically delaying the conflict, and
Yes,
then I mean
I'm
grow your.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm
So
telling
that
you,
means,
Abhishek.
so there is no two-state solution. So it's one-state solution always.
I'm telling you, that's it. This is just on papers. It's not gonna be two-state solution. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, they would. I mean, either party would not agree. Now, I'm not like Syrian. I'm not Arab. Suppose I'm from Brazil, right? I'm telling you, as an observer, they can't have like two states. Are you with me, Abhishek? Hello, hello.